bunch of F words.
We are on the YouTube now.
Yeah, is the video working?
So you're not going to be able to see us, but we have you working.
Okay.
That's very one-sided of me, but I still haven't figured out
That's all right.
how to do
I got
video.
YouTube on the computer screen, so I'll...
10:04. Yeah, it's going to be 8 or 10 seconds behind. I'm going to go ahead and tweet it out.
Tweet it out.
Twitter going.
Let's see.
What's Fergie doing on Fox?
27.
Oh, this is another one of those stupid reality shows.
At lap traffic.
It's on the home screen of...
There we go.
Boom.
Boom. Shakalaka.
Let's see if that tweets. Yep, that tweets.
That hits.
That hits.
Let's see if anybody's out there in the YouTuber space.
What
or
up?
the
Matt
Twitter
Benedetto
space.
fan, Beast, Laura, and the Lap Traffic
Man, those
Podcast.
guys are like on it always.
I'll tell you what. Goodness. I've still got a leftover cough, too, which is just
we got
super.
how about I turn mute on? Jesus.
Get the feedback loop. Yeah. Oh, man. Got the tweet, he says. Good deal. Kantian, what's up, man?
What's up, boys?
Look at this.
Mick Rose?
Yeah. This collabcast stuff is the shit.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Let's see here. I need to put your video up front so I don't see it on this YouTube delay. There's that. All right, that works. Let's see. We've got show notes.
Got a whole bunch of notifications I might have to process here real quick.
There they are. We've got
Gossip Girl is a new follower. That's interesting.
What's up, Gossip Girl?
I'm guessing she didn't want to talk about NASCAR. But you never know.
Hey, we got gossip. Hell.
Oh, we're fixing to gossip. Gossip is in the show sheet.
Let's see. Is Sydney Lett there? Whoa, there she is.
Whoa.
Yep. She is there.
Hello.
Brandon, could you hear that?
I did hear that, actually.
That is so weird, Sherwin. Like, some people do, some people don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It is totally random, like whether that transfers across
makes
the
me
line or not.
Think it's not mine. I've messed with these wires so many daggum times. I got too many wires coming out of this thing. Whatever.
Word
to your mother.
No, I did not, Andrew.
What did he say?
Did Brandon bring his own show notes? That's funny. Good times.
Brandon doesn't even have the show notes. I told him that the guests aren't allowed to see them.
I love it.
Mostly because we don't want to get made fun of.
All right. Nah, I mean, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know us. We're bullshit artists.
Right? I've gotten over it now, and I even said it in the last show that every time I look at the show notes and I'm like, man, we got like 20 minutes of content, maybe. I used to actually be, nervous about that back in the show number 15, 20, 30 days.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
And nowadays, 100 episodes later, you're like, that's good enough. We'll figure it out.
It's like the guy that, he's supposed to go up on stage and do 15 minutes, and then, like, they're having trouble with the headliner. Like, maybe he's a little too effed up. We might need you to stretch it to 30. And we're like, at this point, we're good.
Yeah.
But like 100 episodes ago, we'd been like, oh, crap.
Oh, crap. All right, we got to do some crowd work? Okay, well. I think it was Weaver, who was probably one of the first ones to be like, wait, y'all kicking me off now? No, let's stay to the end. I'm like, oh, crap. All right, well, we're just going to talk about
right, because we have a couple guests that didn't want to stick around the whole time. And that's been one of our sticking points ever since we started is we want to absolutely respect the boundaries of the person who has said, yes, I'm willing to come on.
Absolutely.
Especially considering sometimes the logistics are quite a challenge because, like, we'll have stuff come up at the last minute where somebody's got to travel. Like, Wednesday's no good anymore now. It's got to be Thursday, whatever. And you're, like, jerking these people around. You're like, all right, we got to just, like, whatever their bubble is, we have to respect that. And then sometimes people are like, nah, man, I'm good for, like, the sun comes up before we're done. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Laura asked, did we see her message about Ryan Truex from Candace Spencer, 11th Hour News Indeed? Did you
I
see
saw
it?
that, but I didn't know anything about it beforehand, so
Gotcha.
it's not news to me.
10-4. And Cancian, anybody else here snowed in? I sure as hell hope we don't get any precipitation here in Atlanta, because I saw something earlier, by the way. It was warmer in Anchorage, Alaska, and somewhere in Iceland.
Reykjavik.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to try to pronounce that, but I always mess it up. I always
Yeah.
put a CH in there. I always say Reykjavik, and I can't, And it's got like 12 more syllables in it that are just not pronounced.
Well, it's got 70 more letters in it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I you know what? I
Like
even
double
learned,
dots over eyes.
I
and
even
stuff.
learned why Mike, and I hate this guy, Krzyzewski's name is pronounced the way it is. Because I met, choked Rusty up. Got him laughing when he's got beer in his mouth. That he usually does that to me.
I know. This is one of the first times. You know what was it? Because I went in my head. I went Kurzawizits.
Yeah, Krzyzewski. But I learned what letters in the Western Bloc languages make that noise now because I've met a Orkashevsky.
Oh,
And I promise you, that ain't spelled phonetically.
I don't know what phonetic they're using, but whatever.
All right, so we just go ahead and get live with this
Yeah,
mofo?
should we do it? Brandon,
Do
you
it.
ready?
Ready?
All right. Sherwin, you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Let me get rid of that.
I would.
And, I mean, I'll probably cough during the thing, but, we're not exactly professionals, quote unquote, unquote. All right, we are recording now. Yep. Whoop, whoop. Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 127. It's Thursday, January 4th, 2018. Happy New Year, everybody. I am Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace. I'm joining the PTM Podcast studio with Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
Very happy to be here. This is the uplifting part of the day for me and for you.
No kidding. No kidding. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to the PETM Posse. As always, y'all, this podcast is sponsored by you. That's right. You go to patreon.com/PETM and join the What You Drink Club for as little as $1 a month to get your free koozie. Hey, best part is every cent in 2018 is donated to sponsoring drivers. So join the PETM Posse today. Be a part of the sport that you love. This week's show is brought to you by our official sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. That's Catherine Kingston, Ashley Stang, Laura Henshaw, Harry Balzania, Mick Rose, Chad Sterling, Aaron Bearden, Robert Keppinger, Tony Salt, Colby McClain, Mary Kepner, Ryan Kiefer, Mary Levesque, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, and Brandon Croud.
Look at that.
How about that? Well, Happy New Year, man. How's it going, Sherwin?
That's very good. I think you're going to have to turn that down to actually make the game.
Yeah, I hear you. It's
I
coming
love
down.
that song, though.
We'll
I'll
listen.
let Sydney play all day.
We'll listen to the whole
Actually,
thing.
did you see she had some really interesting news?
No, I did not. What's Sydney's news?
I mean, it's not any kind of thing that official or not, but it sounds like she may get a chance to audition for a role in a TV show,
Oh, that's awesome.
which is pretty damn cool.
We'll be looking out for that. Before we get too far, let's welcome onto the show one of our friends over at Lap Traffic. You can find him on Twitter at Lap Traffic PC and
Motor City.
Detroit Motor
Keep the
City.
house.
And if you might have recognized his name there at the very end of the Patreon read, Mr. Brandon Croud. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, boys?
Oh man, we're doing our thing, man. We can get into it later if we want to or not, but it's been kind of a crummy day overall. So we are very excited to be back in the studio and doing what we do. So we'll start off what we do like we start off every week. Sherwin, what are we drinking?
Well, like always, I stole some of your Jim Beam. This time I got it with root beer, which is a fantastic change of pace.
Yeah, it's not a bad drink.
Really good. And to keep things topical,
Yep.
as I like to do, I've got a New Holland Dragon's Milk bourbon barrel aged stout over here. This is from the west side of Michigan, where our guest is from.
Yes,
Hell
sir.
yeah.
Look at him going all fancy and crafty and all that.
And I found another one of these bottles of whiskey that, like, basically the marketing is what got me. It was like, all right, the price looks good. Marketing looks good. Proof 90. All right, we're good.
Yeah, everything's ready to roll there.
So we're good.
Well,
we'll
we
get
know,
into that in about 45 minutes when things get really sideways.
I hadn't even asked him in the pre-show, but we know Brandon comes packing. So, Brandon, what's the story? What you drinking?
Oh, I came well prepared. I've got
Oh, look at you.
Red Bull, and I've got ice sitting back here, too, so I don't have to get up.
Now, tell me that Tito's is not the same one that we brought to Eldora or nothing. You've got to be on like 17 more since then.
Yeah, no, and that's just a little pint that I got that was sitting up in the cupboard. So no, we buy the Costco size gallon of that. And,
That's the way to go.
But there's probably way more that goes through on that than I would like to admit. So
now that's when we say Jim Beam, we're not always drinking out of the same bottle. Actually, on a weekly basis, I shouldn't say all this.
Well, the sad thing is, it's not so much the fact that I go through a lot at home, but I also go to a bar that I can walk to quite a bit during the week, too.
Oh, geez. So, that's maybe one of my saving graces is there isn't a walking distance bar from here. Although there is a $5 Uber ride bar from here.
I'll see. There you go.
That's just as
damn near the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
It turns out
these days. That's
I'm
a little more.
I'm going to wait more than 5 minutes for an Uber, so it's.
Yeah, that's a little more premeditated, is what it is. If you're going to, I'm going to go get drunk, and you have to almost, it's like you're typing it in your phone. Get me drunk. Go.
Well, it's like,
and then you
got to make a conscious decision.
Yeah, yeah.
Set your location. Okay, got it. Okay, boom. Yep, that looks like where I'm at. Where would you like to go? Drunk.
Drunk. Anyway,
where's the closest drunk?
Versus, I'm sure Brandon just walks down to get the mail. And he's like, well, shoot, I'm halfway to the bar.
Way to the bar.
Might as well.
There's a bar right over there.
Might as well just keep
I can
going.
See it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, we could sit here and do this all day. And I actually wouldn't mind. But I will get through our car number segment. Car number 27. It's episode number 127, car 27. Car 27 had 78 different drivers, and I'm going to list them all right now. No. Boring podcast time. Now, Paul Menard, of course, 252 races with that one win, kissing the bricks. Rusty Wallace himself, 145 races.
Excuse me, sir.
18 wins.
Kodiak?
In the Kodiak, that pretty car.
Put you in a lipper?
Yes, sir. A little hog turd, whatever.
yeah, hog turd.
Junior Johnson, 98 races with 13 wins. We're coming up on some numbers that are the ratio thing that we always talk about. Tim Richmond, 88 races, 2 wins. Benny Parsons, 62 races, 5 wins. Donnie Allison was in 27 for 52 races with 5 wins. Kel Yarborough, 48 races, 5 wins. Jimmy, I will punch you in the face, Spencer, with 29 races and 2 wins. And Jimmy Florian, 15 races, 1 win, and Spotlight this week is on Mr. Jimmy Florian. He was born in 1923, started racing in NASCAR in 1950, so one of the old school guys, Sherwin. He kind of had a David and Goliath story when he brought that Ford of his to the track to compete against all those Oldsmobiles,
Right.
Which and the article I was reading said that
Chevrolets or
said
GMs,
that they were making
Buicks?
fun of him. Like, look at him with his Ford. Oldsmobile's where it's at. Thinking today's
That's
terms.
what's
how
so
silly.
funny about that old generation of racing is not just you didn't have just these siloed manufacturers, Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota, even Dodge when they were here, but you had divisions within.
Plymouth.
You had Plymouth.
Pontiac,
you had
yeah.
Pontiac, you had Buick, you had Oldsmobile, and everybody that you talk to, and especially if anybody's got a speedboat built in the 70s or 80s, like a ski boat, like a 350, that's an Oldsmobile motor that's in that thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he placed third in that first race that he had at Langhorne, Pennsylvania, followed by a pole in Canfield, Ohio. He finished 6th in that race. So later that year in Dayton, Ohio, he beat out Curtis Turner, who we've talked about on the show.
Shut your mouth.
Joe Weatherly, and Lee Petty himself to get that one win that he has. Funny story, Lee Petty protested that race to NASCAR and said, this guy does not have a stock car. This car is not stock. This thing is messed up. There's something going on. NASCAR took his car, took it apart, stayed up till 4 a.m., and at 4 a.m.-ish declared him still the winner because this car, no, Lee, he's just that good.
You know what's funny is was it the first Daytona 500 that Lee Petty protested and ended up winning, but it was over a photo finish, not over a car deal?
I'm not sure. I remember.
Brandon, does that strike a chord with you? I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
I remember there being an issue, well, not because I don't remember seeing it, but I remember reading and seeing issues about that win. I don't remember what it was, whether it was for the car or from the finished perspective of it. But yeah, no, I remember that rings a bell.
It was photo finish. We're all going to see all this footage again for hours and hours and hours, and starting in about 2.5 weeks,
right?
Which is fine. So we'll all know the answer then. So nobody, don't go Google. Just watch whatever the coverage is going to be on, Fox Sports 1, because they're going to roll 8 hours of miscellaneous Daytona coverage.
You know the
and
PTM.
God forbid there's a rain delay during the race. We'll all be.
Lord. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, you know the PTM posse is going to Google that anyway, and then they're going to send you a nastiogram, and
I'm going to get DMs.
You're going to send a nastiogram back, and we get
I'm
blocked.
Shoot them a bird, and I'm going to get blocked. And
good times.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy Florian, he raced for another 4 years after that, before retiring, stopping racing in NASCAR, and then continued to race through his 60s in midgets and sprints and stuff. He passed away in February of 1999. Hats off and drinks up to Mr. Jimmy Florian, old school
Jimmy
driver,
Florian. Man. Mafioso?
Right. Get the Florians in there. He's got a little backing from Vegas.
Like a rose in his mouth.
Oh, man. Well, Brandon, Happy New Year. What's up, man?
Happy New Year, guys. Nothing. Just, if you can't tell, I'm not in the man cave. I'm actually in my office in the house because the man cave is a disaster zone right now.
Oh, no.
2 floors of Christmas closets and decorations all spilled out trying to get that organized and put away. So I couldn't even – there's no room to even sit down there right now. So I had to move on up to the office for tonight's shenanigans.
That sounds like the house – well, not just the house, but the houses I grew up in. And I think my parents both grew up not having a whole lot. And so when they got their own house, they had a lot. And so it was always storage everywhere in the basements and stuff. Floor to ceiling. It wasn't like hoarders or nothing. It wasn't like saving Band-Aids and garbage and crap, But it was like all of my first grade homework assignments and stuff, And I'm like, what are you doing? This is kind of creepy. So,
right?
They have since gotten rid of everything. And so, they've been cured of the not hoarding. But, yeah, I know what you mean by having a basement full of stuff.
Yes. So, trying to clean up from the parties on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve and all that good stuff. But so yeah, I'm excited to get my zone back. Hopefully by this weekend. Well,
I'm wearing my hat from Eldora, which is where we finally got to meet. All get to meet in person, and what a blast that was! And looking forward to the next time. What's that?
I know that picture I posted with Alicia and Becky Dupuis.
Uh-huh.
You're wearing that hat, and I was wearing this hat.
No kidding.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know you had that one that long. I thought that one was newer than that.
Yeah.
That would have been right after the win.
Yeah, I ordered it basically as Blaney crossed the finish line.
Yeah, that Wood Brothers hat. I mean, and it's funny because all the guys, and maybe the girls will know this, but I think guys know what I mean by hat jealousy. And like when Sherwin showed up with that hat, man, I was upside down. I dragged for a couple days about I don't have that hat. And
that thing sold out quick.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was on that click quick.
Yeah, yeah. And then we come back from Eldora, and I'm sporting this hat, and Sherwin's going, man, I can't believe I didn't get me a dadgum hat.
I was saying, yeah.
Speaking of Eldora, I was on, God, I don't even remember when it was. So Eldora was July, so I'm going to say maybe mid-August. I was on, Lionel Racing looking at some die-casts, and they actually had, for purchase, for pre-order, which I did, the Matt Crafton win from Victory Lane. I don't understand this. All right, so the race was July 2017. The estimated ship date for this diecast is June 2018.
Wow.
11 months for a freaking diecast. I'm kind of perturbed about that, I'm not going to lie.
They're trying to do like a backdoor Kickstarter there or something? Like,
I have no idea. Seriously? the shipping of die-casts and the production of them just baffles me, and why it takes so long. I think they'd have bigger sales if they could produce them a little faster, because people know it's going to take them 6 months. So the glory factor of, oh yeah, I got to have that die-cast because my driver just won. But I'm not going to get it for 8 months. It kind of it wears off pretty quick.
Yeah, so I think I already mentioned this before, and I don't know that I described it as well as I would have liked to, and I don't know that we talked about it last week. Maybe we did, and apologies if so, but I know we have some Clemson fans that listen to our show. One of the coolest weird gifts that I got from my dad was the Cody Ware, or I guess it's not Cody Ware Racing, it's Rick Ware Racing, Clemson National Championship car they ran, and I'm still trying to figure out which race they actually ran it in because I don't know it off the top of my head. But I pre-ordered it as soon as it happened, that they said they were going to do it, and because I wanted to give it to my dad and just give it, I gave it to him as a gag gift. I gave my dad a $50 gag gift. And I didn't know how it would go, and so I waited till the very end of Christmas. Like, I played Santa this time. Like, I was the one getting all the presents under the tree because my dad is still kind of reeling from a kidney infection or something or other, and Mom is just Mom, so Mom's got to sit down. So I'm handing out the presents for the first time. It was my first time really doing that, and we get all done, and Dad's like, "There's another one, there's another one down there," and I go, "Yeah, I saved that for last intentionally." It's like, because this is a weird present. I wanted to preface, I gave some speech before it. I'm like, look, here's the thing, Dad. I said, this is going to be a really weird gift for you. I said, this is a way that you and I can connect on a level that we don't connect now, because this is going to be something that means a lot to you from one perspective, and it means a lot to me from another perspective. And he opened up the box, and he's like, "Oh, it's a race car." And I'm like, "No, Dad, look closer." He goes, "Oh, it says National Champions." I said, "Look closer."
Yeah.
He said, "It's Clemson." And he started freaking out. And he's like, "Oh, my God." And I'm like, "Yeah, let me show you how to get it out of the box, because the way Lionel diecasts are, they're screwed in.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just rip it out of there." It's not like it's not like a
and they don't
toy.
unscrew correctly. I've stripped so many cars, they piss me off.
Yeah, I get it. No, I'm with you on that. So I was really careful, and I was like, "All right, Dad, here you go." And he liked it so much, he immediately put it in this same. There's a name for this type of furniture that I will never remember until my mom tells me again what it is. It's the kind of furniture where you display stuff, but it looks like a bookcase, but you put books in it and other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it's got my mom's
curio cabinet.
What?
Curio cabinet?
That's maybe.
Yeah, that sounds close.
Yeah, that probably sounds about right. It's it's 6 feet wide and 4.5 feet tall kind of thing. Maybe 12 inches. It hugs a wall that you walk past, so you don't want it to be real thick. And so he immediately takes his car and goes and sits it amongst my mom's handmade clay French figurines from France, and which my dad loves all that culture stuff too. But he's like, I wonder how long it'll take our neighbors to notice this is here.
Yeah.
But he loved it, and it was
that's fantastic.
It landed better than I ever thought it could. So all that circling back around to, I hope you get your Matt Craftsman truck.
I hope so too,
because I know it means a lot to you, and it meant a lot to all of us to be there. The whole just the cloud of dirt around the racetrack meant so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you told the story about the Christmas gift for your dad. Can I really take this sideways and tell you one about a gift that I gave to my dad that kind of relates to that a little
Please
bit?
do.
I would be upset if you didn't.
All right. So growing up as a kid, me and my family, big sports fans. And my dad never really was. He would always kind of, on Thanksgiving when we're watching football, he'd chirp in from the kitchen or whatever, why, shut that off. Who gives a crap? Sorry. All that kind of stuff. Well, over the last couple of years, my father has developed a man crush for the Detroit Red Wings, which is cool. But me being the lifelong sports fan, feel I have the right to give him crap for being this newfound diehard Red Wings fan. Well, last season was the last season for the Red Wings to play at the iconic Joe Louis Arena. And my dad, I got to go to the last game at I have to be there. I just have to. So for Christmas, my mother told me that she ended up actually buying tickets for him for the game. And I'm like, all right, I have to play with this something fierce. I said, all right, well, that's obviously going to be the last gift on Christmas is him opening that. I'm like, all right, so I told the whole family I am going to give him fake tickets midway through the gift exchange just to blow his mind and watch him go bonkers and then tell him that those were fake tickets. So I bought like this really nice cardstock paper and found this website to where you can print tickets, like literally. And I printed the most realistic fake tickets humanly possible, and he lost his mind, and this is all on video, which is the even cooler part of him losing his mind. He's like down on he's like, just going nuts. And then I told him, why don't you look at those tickets a little bit closer? And so then he bowed down to me as being the master of gag gifts, and was totally annoyed for the next half hour while the family's exchanging gifts, and he's getting Red Wings T-shirts and all this kind of stuff. And then finally my mom gave him the real tickets, and so it was a very fun time to watch him go on that roller coaster ride.
Well, a collaboration gag gift can work out quite well.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you follow up with
Everybody's
some real stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can't just stop there. Now you're just you're an a-hole. Well, you might hear it in Sherwin's voice. He's a little under the weather this week. I was a little under the weather last week. I'm still getting over a cough, so I'm coughing every once in a while. I'm blaming it on him. Sherwin, we got to stop the post-podcast makeout sessions for a few weeks, I guess. I don't know what the story is.
Evidently. We got that, what is it, kissing disease? Mono?
Yeah, mono. No, so you know what's weird? You and I were talking about this earlier, was that everybody in my office here in Atlanta has some crud. Everybody in our satellite office in Milwaukee, they've all got the crud, and I've heard it from other people. And everywhere. Seems like the entire world right now is sick or getting over it or just had it or something. It's kind of crazy. Brandon, how are you?
Knock on wood, I've been good, and we've been dealing with some brutal cold weather up here. It's supposed to be minus 20 with the wind chill tomorrow.
Oh, shut your mouth!
I swear to God. They're canceling schools tomorrow all across Metro Detroit because it's so cold, so kids don't have to stand at the bus stop. But fortunately, I have made it through so far A-okay.
Well, that's good. If it's a zombie apocalypse, just please shoot me in the head when you see me.
Yeah. I don't want to limp away from this thing.
No, I don't want to bite the next guy. Yeah, just right in the head. Make sure or put 2 in there, please.
Yeah, stick to
for good measure.
Yeah, stick to a heavy regimen of Red Bull and vodka.
Yeah. I'm convinced. Hey, that's that hasn't changed. So, yeah, Chloe just chimed in there. I'm still waiting for school to be canceled. She Northern Ohio there. She's going through the same stuff I am.
Hey, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you, Chloe.
You know what's jacked up? So here's what's jacked up, Brennan. So over on the west side of the state, like I said, I still have a bunch of friends over there from the time that I've lived there, and so I have some friends that have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and the 8-year-olds classes were canceled, but the 5-year-olds weren't.
Oh, so that makes
or
an
something,
awkward.
or maybe it's 6 and 4, so it's one's preschool and one's not. It was weird. The older ones' classes were canceled. It's this is dumb.
Yeah, weird.
But it was. I don't think it was anything to do with snowfall. It was about how freaking cold it is.
Yeah. Well, and we've gotten our fair share of snow too. On Christmas Eve, God, we probably got 6-7 inches on Christmas Eve.
Wow. Well, I think we talked about it in the last podcast show. We had real snow here in Atlanta. Not that crap we usually get. That's some sort of wintry mix, and then it freezes overnight, and all of our streets are iced over, but actual snow that you can drive on and stuff.
We had real snow for the second time in 4 years, which is rare because the previous time we had was, I want to say,
85?
right around New Year's
86?
in 2002, because I think I was a sophomore
Oh, that's
So-
right, because me and Colin went out in his truck.
Right, because
He was like,
we had real snow. We
"Let's
had a
go out."
great snowball fight on campus.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was '93.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was before I was born.
There was one in the 80s because me and my dad are on the front page of the local
We had
newspaper sliding
sleet
down
like
our hill.
a mofo
Yeah.
when I was in kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
It was sleety stuff. On the
Yeah.
south side of Atlanta, it was sleet.
Oh, okay. Maybe on the north side that was it.
And
I
like
don't
the
know.
weird-ass neighbor who's evidently
Weird-
a Yankee
every-
was like
the
cross-country skiing up and down the road in the ice. It's like, whatever, dude.
You could have said anything after the weird ass neighbor, and everybody just shake their head. Yep, or nod their head. Yep. I know what you're talking about. Weird ass neighbor. So I guess we can talk about some NASCAR here. Why not?
Why not?
We've got the gossip corner going on. Sherwin, why don't you walk us through the latest in this
Well, I don't even
saga?
know. I
that-
think so. Finally, I think there was a news outlet that cared enough to like say, "Yeah, we think this is actually a legitimate story."
Uh-huh.
But like none of our guys, like this isn't a Gluck, Bob Pockris,
Nate
Ryan approved
Weaver.
story, or Weaver approved story. But I think it's legit now that Danica was on a date with Aaron Rodgers in his favorite Green Bay area restaurant.
The one restaurant in,
The one
in Green Bay.
restaurant they've got there in the Green Bay. And evidently they could not stop touching each other.
Oh, my. Brandon, did you hear about that?
I did. I got to tell you, I was weirded out by this when I first heard that because of how close it was to where we just heard that they had broken up Danica and Ricky Stenhouse. So clearly that relationship ended quite a while ago to where she's potentially, with Aaron Rodgers. So
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting.
Now, Beast in the...
B says, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
It's like, you
Who
know
cares
what?
who
In
did?
the off season, everything is fun.
Anything goes.
It's all fun. Everything can be fun. Embrace the
yeah.
fun. Yeah, don't be
Yeah.
a party pooper.
I mean, the only other drama news is Brian France maybe not buying the Panthers. I mean, what's more
That's
Well,
entertaining?
NASCAR.com shut that down hard.
Yeah. I wrote in our show notes 4 hours ago. Brian France, head of a group looking to buy the Panthers. 2 hours ago, and I searched for it on Google News, and 2 hours ago. So 2 hours later, NASCAR denies report of Brian France looking to buy the Panthers. I was like, well then, that happened quick.
Well.
But I mean, that stuff doesn't get leaked without some sort of like. I mean, this is like AP running this stuff, you know. So whether NASCAR says blah 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 or whatever.
Well, what's his name from the minority from Chip Ganassi supposedly trying to head this group to buy the Panthers, right?
Well, P. Diddy said he was going to buy it. So, like, what? I mean, are we? This isn't worthy of.
everybody. Yeah.
This isn't.
Yeah.
I don't think this is PETM level.
True.
conversation. Although,
True.
Well,
actually,
for $20 and a bag of chips, you could buy the Cleveland Browns right now.
Well, there you go. I'm in. Well, we can
you know
just
what's funny though?
slap PTM on that.
Here's what's crazy funny in it, and as someone who is what's the word? Want to like all these sport movies, and it sometimes gets pigeonholed as someone who likes a sport movie that no one else likes. I loved Draft Day. Cleveland is actually poised to let that movie play in real life,
Mm-hmm.
and that I think it's going to be fun. That might be the only draft I actually pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the interesting thing with that was both of the top quarterbacks coming out of college, and I'm drawing a blank on their names because they're both out of the Big Ten, but
No, they're out
kind
of the
playing-
no, they're
they
out
were
of the
playing
Pac-12,
with
brother.
each other, with declaring their eligibility for the draft because neither one of them, I don't think, want to play for the Browns.
Yeah, well, it's
Yep.
it's Pac-12 and it's Rosen and Darnold. Those are the two,
Yes.
There it is.
and that's UCLA and USC.
I didn't
in
know.
successive order.
I didn't know the Panthers were up for sale. Like,
Yeah, they've been
Like, is it
like
like
up sale for a hot minute.
Oh, yeah?
P Diddy weighed in like in October.
oh, okay.
He's like, what if I
Yeah,
buy this mofo?
I didn't
And
even
like
pay
a whole
attention.
bunch of other mofos mofoed on Twitter. You know how mofos will do.
Oh, hey,
Mofos are mofo on Twitter.
That's what'll happen. So I wrote this one in here. So Sherwin, last year we did that in the off season, just trying to fill time because we have no idea what we're doing right now. And thank you, if you're listening, for joining in for no reason whatsoever.
We're getting Mitch that for talking about too much NFL. So
that's
keep
fine.
on going.
No, so we did that drop of knowledge in the off season. Well, I was just browsing around on YouTube earlier, just farting around doing whatever, and Neil deGrasse Tyson did a 17-minute video with Mashable. They're this YouTube conglomerate, whatever that they do, and they were talking NASCAR physics. And
how have I not seen this?
I said the same thing when it came up. It's Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about NASCAR physics. Yes, click. I don't know how you can click hard, but I clicked hard, you know.
Like you broke the key.
Yeah. It was a normal YouTube video's got that little, like, you know, I'm just going to click like that. And this one was just a
click. Bang.
Yeah. I clicked for real. And I think, to me, the most interesting part about this, and I don't want to ruin the whole thing for anybody, so go on and watch that. But
we're watching this when this is over.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. The coolest part to me, and I mean, it's something we kind of know, but he explained the physics around it, which is on a track when you are driving into the corner at the speed that corner can handle without you going up or down, you don't have to turn the wheel, right? So he was using Charlotte Motor Speedway as an example. You do not have to turn the wheel at Charlotte to go 165 in the corner. It keeps you there. And so all of your left and right is just passing cars or trying to find lines or whatever else. So I thought that was a very interesting, the way he went through the physics of how that works and the, you know, coefficients of friction and what the changing that bank could do to the speed and all that. But I won't drop the knowledge here, but y'all go watch that video if you hadn't seen it yet. But it was really cool that, like, you don't have to turn. Evidently,
I'm pretty sure somebody's having some fun with our timeline there, so I'm not going to react directly to
I saw it.
he said. But Neil deGrasse Tyson knows more about physics than anyone on the planet, likely, who is in the public space.
Sure.
And I had this conversation with a couple other people, but Rusty and I have disclosed before that we have read the book NASCAR. Like physics
and NASCAR.
The physics of NASCAR.
It's like
written by a female mechanical engineering professor from Texas A&M who spent a year wandering around in NASCAR and asking questions. And I'll say I read that book in 2008, and honestly, this is going to sound super egotistical. It's not. I didn't learn anything from her. All she did was validate everything I'd already learned about NASCAR, which to me is very cool. Now, there's a lot of new things we need to learn in the 10-year gap since when I read that book to now. But
for me, it was the why. I knew the what. I knew that if you turn this happens, and that book really helped explain here.
Well,
why
so and
happens.
I sent out some tweets earlier this week talking about some of this same stuff because the main thing I wanted to focus on was. And we're delving into a whole new topic that's not even in the show sheet, is Roush selling his third charter. And I just remembering back to when Roush got all five, when you could still have five. He got all five of his cars in the chase in 2005. And just like that sphere of, oh, my God. But then I talked about Biffle, and I just remember Biffle in that era. Like, they would show his in-car, and he would drive around somewhere like Michigan or California or somewhere just balls to the wall, and he would never turn the wheel. It was all right foot. Every bit of it was, oh, I need to turn, stomp. I need to turn, stomp. I need to turn, stomp.
Yep.
He would never turn the wheel. That's why he was so fast at places like Texas and Vegas and California and Michigan.
Yeah. Brandon, you follow any of the physics stuff?
No, I'm a soft science major, not a hard science major.
That's I mean, that's all good. I guess. Well, no, I guess science is in the title.
I remember at MIS when we were. I don't remember if it was De Benedetto or McDowell who said literally, when you go into turn one at a track that's built like Michigan, it's foot to the floor, hold the wheel, and close your eyes kind of thing. So, I could see where that plays a role.
Yeah. And it was cool watching that video again. Neil deGrasse Tyson, when he one of the things he said, he quoted Mario Andretti and said, if you're in control of the car, you lose. if you're in control of the car at all times, then you're going to lose this race by many laps.
Well,
So
it's funny
just-
you say that. And Brandon, I know we've kind of kept you on the sidelines over there for a minute
That's
or
right.
two, but that's what Tony Stewart was, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Tony Stewart doesn't get good until it gets hot. Why does he get good when it gets hot? Because it gets greasy, and he ain't scared of greasy.
That's what it is. No fear. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go on and let's get into the questions here. Why not? Mick Rose, who's on the YouTube with us, following along there at GoDucks42_Mick. What was the most memorable moment of the 2017 season? I'm glad you didn't just say of 2017 because we'd have to get a whole nother bottle of booze to go through all that. But what's the most memorable moment of the 2017 season, and what are you looking forward to in the 2018 season? And boy, what a question! And I like the year in review, and maybe I should have thought about this more beforehand. You know, I'll throw two out there. One was obviously, if you're a fan, we're fans. We're a fan podcast. You have your driver, Casey Kane, winning at Brickyard. Was every time he gets a win,
Couch flip.
yeah, I mean, we're talking about flipping our couches. We're talking about all this stuff. If you're a fan, that's what you want to see. You want to see your guy win, and for sure that was among the top ones. And then I'll go all sentimental and warm and fuzzies and just say that the whole Eldora experience, which really was given an exclamation point by the guy on the other end of this video here, Mr. Brandon Croud. Welcoming us into the ghetto sled and having a blast. Yeah, what a fun time! What a great place to go, and getting to meet folks in person, which we've now done, Sherwin, like a dozen or more times, maybe even more than that. Maybe 20, 40, 50 people that we've met now outside that we meet in the online space. And then get to go out and see them, and they all say, "Wow, you're way fatter than I thought you were." So,
To me, that's like the biggest reward for doing what we do.
Yeah.
Is the idea or the concept or the reality that when we go to some of these racetracks we haven't been to before, that there are going to be people there that we have not met before who basically know who we are on the digital space.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes even recognize us. Like you look at them, they look at you and you go, "I know who you are. Let's figure out why."
Yeah, let's have this conversation.
That is super cool.
Yeah, it's so
Or like I know who you are based on where you are. Like I knew you were supposed to be here. You are here, and so now I know who you are.
Yeah,
and that was Brandon when we rolled into Julie's camp there.
Yeah.
Julie Bosley,
Yep.
huge supporter, love her to death, and Mike. We knew who you were, Brandon, because like you rolled up and we're like, it was pretty obvious who you were. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty obvious who we were.
He was the guy with the booze down the front of his shirt.
Yeah. He was either sweating or he had spilt an entire Red Bull and vodka down the front of his shirt.
Or both.
Which was a lap traffic shirt, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And
Knew it
way to
at
promote
first
the
place.
brand.
Yeah. So 2018, Mick, it may sound weird, but more of the same. That's what I'm looking forward to. It's more of the same and it's different. More of the same being getting to meet new people, getting to see everybody again, and going to these new racetracks for us racetracks, getting out there and doing new stuff. We got a lot of fun stuff planned, a lot of opportunities and stuff like that. So, I'm sure you're probably thinking more or your question is geared more toward the racing action part of it. But I mean, for me, it's definitely doing this. If it weren't for this, then what am I looking forward to? Well, my driver's going to Levine Family Racing. I mean,
No, we wouldn't have any of this.
It wouldn't be like that. Following Chase Elliott getting a win is going to be really fun in 2018. So there's the things that I'm looking forward to. Brandon, go for it. 2017, 2018.
Well, so I gotta repeat your sentiments in terms of meeting people, talking with people, and the show. It's been remarkable. I had no idea that it could get to this level, which is just crazy.
And y'all, you started the show in 2017, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I couldn't remember if you had one like right before the beginning of the year, or if y'all started at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, no, 17. So,
awesome.
so that was incredible. I'd have to pair that with doing a show live at the Michigan Media Center and being
Yes.
able to talk to people in person, not just on the phone. That was remarkable. But from an on-track perspective, I'd have to say, watching Martin Truex Jr., who is someone that I would have compared to, back in the day, almost like a Paul Menard, so to speak. Okay, all right, yeah, he's on the track. He's 15 to 20th place finisher with maybe a top 10 every once in a while, to transforming into this competitor that I didn't know was there, that could be there. And even though it wasn't my driver, doing this podcast has helped me to appreciate the sport as a whole in a better perspective, and being able to appreciate not just what my driver does, but what else is going on the track. And watching Martin Truex have the season that he did, being able to go out there and beat the Jimmy Johnsons, the Kyle Bushes, Kevin Harvick's, Brad Keselowski's, and being able to see guys like Kyle Larson, like, I just developed a huge appreciation for the sport that I didn't even know was still within me to be able to develop. So I think that was, for me, one of the coolest things of 2017.
Sherwin, 2017, 2018, what's the story?
2017, absolutely coolest experience possible was Eldora. Don't know if we'll be able to replicate it year over year, because we do have a goal of visiting new places until we repeat stuff. And I'll go ahead and announce it. Not that we're going to be able to make anything happen in between now and then, but I have a companion ticket that doesn't expire until March 18th.
So sometime between now and March 18th, which is a short number of races.
Phoenix!
Woo, Phoenix. Look out,
Maybe
Phoenix.
in the cards
Could be a
for
possibility.
PTM. And we will do a podcast from location.
Oh, yeah,
That's
on the hill.
We don't know where we'll be at, but obviously we're going to do Atlanta. Super excited for that. I hope it's...
I just got the call today.
Autumn.
Did you get a call?
No, I didn't.
Oh, they called me today.
Let's say they got your number, like Bristol's got mine.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
Bristol
yeah.
won't leave me alone. Atlanta won't leave you alone.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So, no, I'm hoping that can work out some possible way, shape, or form. 17, really, I mean, to me, Eldora and meeting not just Brandon and Tony, but some of the other podcasts like that we interacted with, the Brits.
Yeah.
Andy and David.
Those guys are awesome.
How cool was that?
For a fact.
They have, I mean, golly, they have kicked some serious ass from 5,000 miles away. That's impressive.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. 2018, I want to see a new racetrack, and I'd love for us not to have any weather issues.
You know what? I love that. I love that. What are you looking forward to? No weather issues in 2018. That would be new, one. But yeah, that would be killer. Yeah. So great question, Mick. Thank you for that one. Got a next question, Mr. Cancian, Andrew Cancian at KHANTZIAN. What's the funniest driver-to-driver burn that you can remember? And that's another good question. You know what? I just thought of this. My favorite burn, and it's recent, and I'm sure there's others, and we've even talked about some on the show when we're talking about some of the
talk about this stuff as we go.
50s and 60s drivers that in the car number thing or in the car driver spotlight and stuff, where people call people names and stuff, and they get these funny nicknames. Mm-hmm. But man, Joey Logano asking who wears the fire suit with Kevin Harvick. That is the sickest burn from a guy at that point who was, real green in the series.
Oh, he was 21 years old.
Yeah, yeah. And to drop that, I mean, his stuff.
His wife wears a fire suit in the family. She probably told him to do it. It was like, bam, dude.
Yeah.
You have that one on.
Yeah,
Did you have that in the holster?
Yeah. Did you just have to fill in name here? But, you had to go with somebody who's married. That was killer. And that one put the Joey Logano from the whatever to the All right. This guy. Let's.
He's got some moxie.
Yeah,
he's
got a little bit. I'm all right with this. Brandon, anything from your perspective you're thinking of?
All right, so that was what I was going to go with, but I'm going to steal one from the Orange Cone, who I know is on the YouTube chat there. And,
all right.
And I'm not going to repeat the story.
What up, Cone?
Oh, yeah, he's been acting like an a-hole over on
Uh-oh. What was that?
Go ahead, Brandon.
Yep.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm going to steal the Orange Cone's Jack Hewitt. I'm not going to tell the story, but just go YouTube Jack Hewitt if you need to know what I'm talking
Jack
about.
Hewitt.
Oh, okay.
You know what?
So was it too many cuss words? All
Yeah.
right, so
Well,
all right.
You remember he told us about that when we were in. Yes, I remember that because he was telling that story
Oh!
on the podcast.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
you remember?
yes,
Yeah.
on the collaboration cast that we did in the
ghetto sled.
In the ghetto sled.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then you had to edit like all of it because it was
Yeah.
really bad.
Yes.
All right, so
I just did.
hold on.
By the way, I just looked it up. Jack Hewitt. All you have to do is look up Jack Hewitt on Google, and like the second hit is the YouTube video, and it's
gold.
it hits, y'all.
but don't it hits and don't pin whatever he says to any of us because that's Jack and that's Jack. And I've got something I wanted to say. Shoot, where did it go? All right, so on that same token, it's not really like driver to driver talking smack, but it is a former driver talking smack in a space he now knows he is allowed to talk smack in. Mr. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh man.
So he comments on now realize Mr. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now employed by NBC Sports Network. Actually, it's not even NBC Sports Network. It's another subsidiary, so they can use him however they want. Like it's their holding subsidiary for people that typically do sports commentary.
Mm-hmm.
So NASCAR on Fox put out their Daytona preview, and it was actually pretty damn cool. And Ralph Dale Earnhardt Jr. says, solid commercial. And Tim Duggar, who is a country music artist out of Alabama, who's been associated with Dale Jr. and other guys in the past, said, just cause you heard Ken in it, and he means Ken Squire.
Mm-hmm.
So they let Ken Squire do some of the voiceover, or they just captured some of his voiceover from previous NASCAR calls. And Ralph Dale Earnhardt Jr. says, nope, because it's not that Daytona Day bullshit. And that went,
man,
it's got 999 likes and 119 retweets, as you might imagine.
Oh, fantastic. I love you know what? We even talked on here that I didn't hate that. I mean,
but at the same time, it's funny to hear
that
somebody.
is a good burn.
Yeah, that's a good burn. That's a good burn right there.
Oh, man. All right. Let's see. Next question comes from the Cone himself at the Orange Cone.
Oh, wow.
And this one's for Brandon.
This one's going to get a little bit
in
the ditch.
I can only imagine.
He knows it. How'd you get your nickname Three-Way?
Jesus.
What's the most like PG-13? Because it's almost more fun to do it that way.
Oh, it is.
All right, so
When a man and a woman.
when
a man-
the next time I see him.
Kick him in the stones.
Yes. So the PG version is I used to hang out with a couple chicks that were a lot of fun, and there was a interpretation there that led to the nickname Three-Way. We're gonna put it that.
Oh man, I love.
Boy, that was a super Cliff Notes version of that.
I love it.
When we shut the recording off, I can maybe give you a little more detail.
Right. Oh,
Understood.
Funny. Cliff says he's got family pics in the background. I mean, come on.
I ain't got no kids, Cliff. That's like the rule, right?
Yeah. Everything's good. Oh, good times. All right. Next question. Joe at JoJo _6040 asks, How many wins do y'all think will be cucumbered in 2018? So we're talking about 3-ways and cucumbers.
Absolutely 0.
You think 0? None?
None. I'm voting for none.
All right, I'm actually going to say 2.
Well, I guess I'll have to go with 1 then, right?
How many did we have last year? Just the 1?
Just the 1.
Yeah. Was that Logano?
Yeah.
It was Logano. And I think NASCAR is going to lighten up a little bit on the inspection pre-race because of all the flack they took with the pre-qualifying inspections and all that kind of stuff. So I think they're going to find a little bit more stuff at the end of the race. So I'm going to think 2.
Well, I think we'll know right away if they allow somebody to destroy the rear end in the burnout.
True.
After winning.
Yeah, if they get cucumbered or not at that point.
Because you cannot get – well, I mean, they made Cucumber the first guy that does that as a calibration process. I'm guessing not, though, because I think fans – I think they really are dancing that line between – fans love that burning it down. I mean, fans loved the fact that Mark Martin didn't. But the reason why they love the fact that Mark Martin didn't is because he was the only freaking guy who didn't do it. And they loved Ryan Blaney because he respected the Wood Brothers motto that that's not what we do. We don't burn down the rear end because we hadn't got but maybe a couple rear ends.
How many of these we got? Yeah.
I mean, like if you look back in history, like now they probably got more. But in history, they probably only had – I mean, if you look at David Pearson over the years, the reason why he didn't win 255 freaking races is because they burned up something in half the races he was in. The other half of them he won. So that's the Wood Brothers' perspective on racing is we don't tear our stuff up intentionally. We tear it up trying to win.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if y'all just heard a computery noise over the podcast, that was my computer saying, "Hey, it's time for updates. You want to go ahead and install them now and restart the computer?"
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, just do it. Just do
Yes,
it.
please.
Perhaps punch yourself in the face and let's move on.
I'm not broadcasting live on YouTube while I was also recording a podcast and having a guy on Skype. Nothing like that. No, just go ahead.
Does too, which is fun.
Piggybacking on that, and also going back to Mick Rose's question, one thing I thought of when you said something there was with the stage racing and stuff. I'm looking forward to in 2018 that they fix that whole, like, at Bristol, there's 40 laps of the next stage run before we actually throw the green, you know? I'd like to see some
100%.
100%. All right.
Hashtag
drink. Yep.
everybody drink.
Yep.
Everybody drink.
Cheers.
Drink.
Cheers. Let's drink. Let's do it. Yunker Motorsports at Yunker, just Yunker MTRSPTS says.
Hey, spell it all the way out now, y'all. It really doesn't matter anymore.
All right. Yunker Motorsports says, Brandon, I spilled a glass of what I'm drinking on my laptop. Will putting it in a bucket of rice help dry it out?
Yes, for 24 hours, and then it will fry up.
Fried, like fried rice?
I'm telling you. I'm going to have to pre-auth the questions next time.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, I told you already over text. We don't, like, there's no preview for the guest. Like, you don't.
Well, wait, I'm a Patreon member now.
Yeah.
I get the show sheet.
I sent him the show
You
notes
will.
'cause
That's
he's on
right.
the
You'll
thing.
get the show
Well, no,
sheet.
he got it. He got it because he
Oh,
is. Yeah.
man. That's
Yeah,
sneaky.
so you can follow along.
Sneaky.
How about that? Yeah. What are you going to do? Thank you, Yunker Motorsports, for that one. Frank Villat, our guest last week, Frank Villat, he says, you can pick any NASCAR personality, living or otherwise. Who do you think would be the most entertaining guest to have on your show? Brandon, why don't you kick us off with that one? Most entertaining guest of any NASCAR personality that we could have on the show, living or otherwise.
Well, or on yours, either way.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Did I say? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
No, I didn't. I mean, yeah.
Since you're on a podcast, you know.
I don't know why. I think Brad Keselowski would be an awesome interview. I think he'd level with you. I don't think he'd, come across as, hey, I'm, top driver. I think he'd have a lot of fun on the show. I think he'd talk beer and drinking as much as, details on the car or the track and all that kind of stuff. I also think, God, maybe. Yeah, I have to say, I think Brad might be one of the laid back interviews that would be really good.
Love it, Sherwin.
I don't disagree there. I mean, I'd love to interview Brad. Obviously, I like Brad. Brad's upset me recently
True.
with his approach to social commentary, but that's fine. That's life. I think the driver. I don't think I'll ever be able to escape my desire to interview Dale Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is the absolute number one personality in the sport that is still available. And so I think, but I mean, the question was asked, who would you most like? It doesn't matter if they're alive or not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's anybody that's dead that I would care more to interview than somebody that's alive.
Yeah.
Although with all of this talk that's going on within the past year of us, getting involved with these folks at Georgia Tech and the Raymond Parks people, like clearly Raymond Parks sounds
that
like
would be that's where you get stories
like,
and
holy
stuff.
cow! Because like the experience up at Dawson Pool Room with Gordon Perkle Sr.
With bugs flying in and out of our mouths.
With bugs flying in and out of our mouths because we just couldn't we couldn't even shut our mouths. We were paying so close attention to what he was saying. Like those experiences, they'll be remembered forever, and we'll try to figure that out. But I mean, I don't know. I guess to double dip on this question, I guess I would like to interview Bill and Chase Elliott in the pool room.
Oh yeah,
That'd
yeah. How
be
killer!
sweet.
That's goosebumps right there, buddy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So, I along those same lines is where I went with mine, and this is not because of his name or anything else. It's because a short track legend, a guy who's won something like 1,200 races, smoked cigarettes in his car. Nope, Mr. Richard Trickle. For me, that old school cool. We've talked about that. We've used that name a bunch. Old school cool. And the stories that I imagine that he could tell with all the short track racing that he's done, all the local stuff, all the bars that he went out to afterwards, all the story. I mean, it's kind of like Gordon Perkle in terms of you'll talk to him for 8 hours and he still has he's only pulled 1 grain of sand out of his jar of stories,
yeah,
and
exactly.
And I think that would be really cool to have somebody like that. I was just trying to think of somebody who had that many stories and was that well traveled.
No, we have to fly up to Wisconsin one day and just find somebody that can tell Richard Trickle stories.
Yes, sir.
Just to record them.
I love these shows that feel like just sort of a conversation that we're having, and that sort of fun stuff there. Which means we're almost at an hour already.
Always.
Isn't it crazy how that works?
Well, hey, real quick, since you guys have an in at the Dawsonville Pool Room, when Chase Elliott gets his win in 2018, you guys need to make sure that you tell them to tweet the video out of them ringing the bell. Like, that needs to be out in the public.
That's siren. I believe they did that the last time.
They did it. So I think the first tweet they sent of the siren was when sorry, I had to burp. When Chase won the pole to Daytona 500.
Yeah. So
they're in. I just need to get back in with the grandson is the one that runs the deal.
Oh, cool dude too.
Yeah. So Brandon, here's a crazy anecdote that we have a few minutes left in this hour that we're trying to do here. We're sitting at the truck race, or no, it was the Xfinity race, right? The triple header. They do 2 races on Saturday and 1 on Sunday at Atlanta, and we're sitting in our seats, and up walks. We see Gordon. We recognize him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Jr. and Gordon Sr.
Yep.
And it's the grandkid that's in front of him. We don't really know, and like we start waving at him, and they're like, "Oh, wow, I think we recognize you." And, like, it's the grandson who's, like, 25 years old who's like, hey, I'm the one that runs the Twitter. And it's like, hey man, all we want to do is like more awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we hadn't really been able to connect all that well on Twitter, and I don't have in really any other good ways, but it was really cool to see them. Like, they're walking up, and like Gordon Perkle Sr. is royalty. Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
Like, he goes to the race with a suit.
Oh yeah,
on.
he goes to the bathroom with a suit on, brother.
Yeah,
like I'm talking about
royalty.
This guy is for real,
and he's got this badass like white, like slicked back hair, not slick like greasy, like poofy,
just
slick.
The old school cool is what it is. You know, and you could tell there was like one other group that recognized him, like 20 rows in front, right? And the people who recognize him, I mean, they go down to one knee. You know, this is royalty, like you said.
It's
royalty.
Absolutely royalty.
And saw him. That's Gordon Perkle, dude. We both get up. I mean, we're freaking, you know. I was
like, Dawson Pool Room?
And then we turn to the people around us. Dude's wearing a Chase Elliott hat. We're like, dude, you got a Chase Elliott hat on. He's like, yeah. Do you know who this guy was that just walked by? That's Gordon Perkle. That's the Dawsonville Pool Room man. And dude just like, you know, freaks out. Oh my God! Like, I can't believe I just missed that. So
it was pretty nuts. Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
Yeah. So that brings us to a Stranger Stang.
Uh-oh.
And she's invading the men's room on this one, Sherwin.
Oh my goodness.
So here goes nothing.
Bound to get crazy.
What's the weirdest thing or conversation you've ever heard in a public men's room? And are there any congratulations involved? I like that. Oh, congrats, buddy. Brandon, you want to kick us off?
You're up first, man. You got to give us a state of execution.
All right. All right. Okay. All right. So I actually, Lindsay and I.
Wait, this is a men's room question, and you're starting with your wife and yourself.
Yeah.
So all right.
we're downtown at MGM Casino. This is a couple years ago. And I'm in the men's room, maybe in a stall, just saying. And all of a sudden I hear this guy talking on the phone. And he gets into the stall next to me. No idea what this guy looks like, and what he's wearing, anything. But he's on the cell phone, which to that point baffles me. But the next words out of his mouth that I hear very loudly are, you make money in the car, you can pay for the car.
I don't even know what that means.
Well, so me, all I'm picturing is this guy's in a fedora with a feather, a cane, and a leopard coat vest. That's all I can think of. And the other thing I'm thinking of is who is on the other line and what do they look like? Because,
or what do they do?
What color is the feather?
I mean, all I can say is what went through my mind is this is Mr. Pimp talking to Mrs. Female Worker, for lack of better PG words. And I mean, the conversation, I can't duplicate it because it was that priceless, but the words to take away are, you make money in the car, you can pay for the car.
I love it. I absolutely love it. You know what? Bathroom conversation. I'll say this. So I just thought of this. The building that I used to work in, the office next to us was a bunch of lawyers. And if you wanted to know, yes, lawyers' poop stinks worse. Like, it's bad, right? But you'll go in there and there's a stall. And here's the thing. When they're on their phone, it's always billable hours, right? So it's nothing for them to go into the bathroom on their phone and, like you said, go into the stall, you know, and the implications that go with going in a stall. So there were so many conversations that we would hear that would be like, I'll go ahead and give the DA a call on Thursday, and we'll get that settled for you. So those were always the funniest conversations. It was always the ones too where the commodes were the automatic flush things, but they had the little button. So if I ever heard, obvious lawyer talk, I'm reaching back and I'm mashing that button. That thing's going up. This is one of them, electrically powered ones too. So going nuts. So Sherwin, where you at?
I don't even know. God almighty. You know what? In the right mood, if there's like a row of urinals and somebody rips a just fantastic fart, I'll like kind of give that high five and be like, yeah.
Oh, you got to congratulate farts because
that's good.
It's
like
a men's
room. Somebody's just peeing and like kind of you can see it on their face. They relax and just go, yeah, I'm just tear a phone book. Like you're like, oh man, that's pretty good, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
you got to
congratulate that. guy.
You do, because where else can dudes, do that? This is our safe space. This is where we go to do this. This is where things, the illegals get to go in their place, and we get to go here.
Yeah.
We just lost so many female followers between the two shows.
No, I don't think so. I think they're all like, God damn it, that's what my husband does. He thinks farting's funny.
Right.
Because
he,
my dad thinks farting is the funniest thing that's ever happened on earth. His funniest movie scene in any movie ever is in Blazing Saddles after they eat the beans. He cannot, he stops breathing during that scene.
Yeah. Well, and I guess it doesn't help the ladies that when the guys go into the restroom that we're getting encouraged and laughed, and I mean it's a thing for farting to happen,
Oh, there's no ridicule for farting.
No. If you get onto a dude who farted at a urinal, I mean, what are you doing in the men's room? Be honest.
For sure, go sit down and pee.
Oh, with that, hey Brandon, why don't you close us out? We'll get this thing going.
Oh man, I think it just isolated the other 12 people that were listening.
Yeah, this Brandon, this is a part that the women are leaving.
Well, guys, it's been a blast. Can't wait to do this again during the season when maybe we talk a little bit more NASCAR, perhaps. But
sure.
Everyone, make sure you check out at Lap Traffic PC. Just gave away a shirt today. Winner, the guy lives in Mexico. He's already got a hold of me for his address. So,
holy crap!
I saw that. I saw a lot of Spanish.
And New Lap Traffic Season 2 starting January 23rd.
It's coming up. It's coming up. Awesome.
So looking forward to that.
Looking forward myself. Brandon, thank you for being on. And Sherwin, we got to bring this up and bring it down. And I can't believe it's when you're having fun with friends. It's always the same. You can't believe. Can't believe
Bounce
it's been
them up.
No. With that, y'all know where to find us. It's ptmpodcast.com, on the Twitter at PTM Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, all the places where you can find us. You'll find us. Y'all be sure to follow me, Rusty Wallace, at Tailgate Mayor.
And Andrew Sherwin at Pregame Engineer, and on Instagram at Andrew L. Sherwin.
All right, y'all. And with that, let's see. It's the 4th. We'll talk to y'all next week. Y'all have fun.
When are we going to talk? I got a cool guest lined up, by the way. I'm not going to announce it now.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out. A week from today.
I'm flying to freaking El Paso.
El Paso. All
Yeah.
right. They make country songs about
day.
El Paso. All right. Well, send us a story.
Will do.
Talk to y'all next week.
See ya!
And recording is complete. There it is.
Yo!
All right, we're still live on the YouTube.
Yes.
But that is all that is going to be on the, whatever you call it, the
We got
iTunes
some,
and stuff.
So on the hook, the one I was talking about is Georgia Helenberry.
Oh, yeah. You tell me about that.
She's doing social media for the team that Brian Clausen used to drive for the Chili Bowl.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's badass.
like, very cool stuff.
Nice.
We're trying to work her in as soon as we can.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah,
Brandon, that was fun as hell.
That was fun.
dude, that was fun as hell, man.
That was a blast.
Like,
I
you
can
know
do
what
this
we're
every-
doing.
I
We
can
know
do this every day.
Yeah, 127. Sherman, you gotta keep stuff going.
You know what we do, Brandon, and I appreciate your willingness to adjust to our total fucking ADD randomness.
No, that was so much fun. I love doing this, so I can't wait to have you guys on, and I'm sure we should do this more often throughout the season.
You know what's funny, Sherwin, is I think you've been on like 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 other shows, and I've been invited to every one of those and have not been able to make it for extenuating circumstances. Like, not just
every time.
Like, every time
you
it's an
didn't
exception.
Refuse, you just couldn't do it.
People die and people like
People
move
fucking
and,
die. All right, now that I'm good and fucking drunk, Brandon, I talked to you about
We're
this
live
other
on
day,
the
like,
YouTube still. If you're just making sure.
Oh yeah, I'll keep it. Yeah, I said the F word, but
oh no, that's fine.
No,
I'm just saying, just make sure.
Brandon,
you know.
one of our really, really, really good friends succumbed to cancer right after Christmas, and so we were at a funeral today. And you don't have to say I'm sorry or any of that. We've already dealt with that.
Yeah.
But like that's one of the things that we like to like grab emotion from and do fun stuff from, and I think we did something very fun today.
Absolutely.
To sort of recover from that in some respect.
I didn't know, Sherwin, how well this would piggyback against, going to a funeral for a friend who, our age, which, I'm not dead yet, so I want to live, multiple digits of years more. And so obviously somebody taken too soon is what I'm saying on this whole thing. And so to turn around, at first I was like, I don't know if if we're going to be in the emotional state to do it, but I felt doing this more, it felt not better than normal, but it felt like this is what we need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it did. It felt...
glad to be a part of it.
Yeah. So
us too, by the way. I'm very happy.
I keep cutting you off, Brandon. I apologize
That's
for that.
all right. Well, I was just going to say, we need to make sure that when you guys come on that both of you are available.
Yeah, and we'll absolutely...
10-4. We'll make that happen.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So, one of the cool things... So, last week, when we finished our episode with Frank, I think we both got... we got pretty close to not being the manly human we wanted to be in public because manly humans don't get emotional. But the reality is they do, and that's what's great about it. And we had our own emotional moment, but we had our moment today. Our friend, he's not here anymore, and that's okay, and that's part of life. But we're super committed to having a really fun time doing this thing.
Hell yeah!
And we can actually harvest that same emotion to do this.
Yeah.
That makes us sad. Like, this makes us happy. That makes us sad. But those are different things. And I think that's what's really cool is, like, being able to just harvest those different... Yeah. Harvest the same, potentially the same emotion, but, like, put it to a different place.
Well, in our way, dude. Hats off. Drinks up.
Absolutely.
To Marcus.
So, Brandon,
Cheers,
I don't
Brandon.
think we don't know how to communicate this as well as we could. Like, the guy that whose funeral we went to today was one of my first roommates in college.
Oh wow!
And somebody who he's not just that. He's the guy that like of all your friends. Like, imagine you have 25 friends, and you had to pick the guy who was the best leader in the bunch. Who was also
Wolfpack leader,
the nicest guy in the bunch. And that was the guy
nice.
that we celebrated today. So that's what made it challenging.
Well, and that's a good word. We get to celebrate from here on in, which I think we'll be able to do.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
today was grieving, and tomorrow is celebrating, or starting right now celebrating. With that,
Absolutely.
y'all on the YouTube, I'm gonna shut her down because I got to start actually putting this thing up on Podbean and the rest.
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
hey Brandon,
So-
if you want to keep talking, I'll keep talking while Rusty's working.
I'll stick around. I got
All
nothing
right.
to do.
All right. Well, we'll catch y'all later. Thank you for joining. Thank you for hanging out with us. And boy, what a blast! What fun! Y'all see us on
I
all the
think that
main
was
places and
a
everything.
very fun show.
Oh man, I have a
Thank
blast.
you so much to Brandon Croud from Lap Traffic for joining us.
Absolutely. We'll see y'all next week.
Anytime.
Peace.